ഇന്ന് നമുക്കൊപ്പമുള്ളത് കശ്മീരി ചിത്രമായ ഐ എം നോട്ട് റിവർ ജലം എന്നതിൻ്റെ സംവിധായകൻ പ്രകാശ് ചന്ദ്രയാണ്. കശ്മീരിൻ്റെ രാഷ്ട്രീയ വിഷയങ്ങളെ പശ്ചാത്തലമാക്കി ഒരുക്കിയ ചിത്രമാണ്. ആ സിനിമ ഒരുക്കേണ്ട കാരണങ്ങൾ, അതിൻ്റെ രാഷ്ട്രീയ പശ്ചാത്തലം തുടങ്ങിയവയെക്കുറിച്ച് സംവിധായകൻ സംസാരിക്കണം. പ്രകാശ്, വെൽക്കം.
Thank you so much.
First of all, we are very happy that a political film on Kashmir has been made and it has been screened, and I think the people of the delegates of the iffk has been given a wide appreciation on the film.
Yeah. I'm very thankful to IFK for giving us a space, to screen our film in a time where things are being hampered, and the space is being, captured by certain people, and these people are trying to create and build an idea that I don't believe. So I'm very much thankful to IFK for giving us an opportunity to show our film. Yeah.
And one more thing, and as you have been born and brought up in Bihar, and then it is the first film you have been making, like I don't belong to River Jhelum. What was the reason for your first debate film to be made on this Kashmir?
So I have been to this place long time back. I have taught theatre, especially to the school and college going students. And when you listen to and see their experiences, life there is very uncertain and filled with violence. And for me as Prabhash, it is not just about being Kashmir. When you see your neighboring countries, like Syria, Palestine, Afghanistan, whatever is happening to the people there, I strongly feel that the basic human right to education and the freedom are denied to the children and women there. So, I kept on visiting Kashmir because I had to go there and teach. So, visiting and I started noting and observing the details, interviewed few people, documenting those interviews. So at certain point of time I came out with this film, like idea of making a film on Kashmir. I'm Not The River Jhelum. Yeah.
Okay, when we coming to the film, when we see the film, the incidents that have changed the Kashmir, or coming to the incidents that changed the India. But when we are talking about the Kashmir, the resistance of Kashmir has been portrayed in the film, and when it comes down to Delhi, also the resistance has been put by the student community of JNU, and all are being used in there. When it is being a film also, the real incidents is used in the film.
Yeah.
What was that thought process behind that?
Yeah, for me, I have this feeling that I believe that the fiction and documentary, there is a very blurred line for me. So I have documented all of the real incident that has happened during a protest, during a riot, and during when you are trying to speak and your voice is being suppressed. So my documentation, most of the documentation that you will see is during the real time. And when I see Delhi now and the other part of the country, they are trying to trying to create a space where how the people have been treated in Kashmir. Delhi is also more or less the space and the voices are being suppressed. So I thought of documenting that CA and NRC protest, where you identify. I had this strong feeling that when you start identifying a certain community, and this certain community is Muslim, and you are identifying them as internal enemy and framing them in a way that they are anti-nationals. So I strongly and I had this faith in me that I believe that this should not be at all a habitual practice in any civil society. So yeah, so these are some of the things whenever I'm documenting, whenever I'm shooting. So these are always there in my mind, and they are trying to create a space in Delhi, and that space is a space of torture, trauma and violence. Because whatever riots has happened in the recent time in Delhi, I feel very uncomfortable with all of that.
Okay, when we are talking about the film, no, the one of the major part of the film gets based to another track is that the abolition of 370, and you have been making the film. I think through the film you have showed your stand on that. Also, how you feel the people of Kashmir when the government has done that? They have been telling that it's for the benefit of the Kashmir, but when it is been when years passed, nothing has happened on that. So how you take on that?
Not at all. They are not very comfortable. I have been interacting with people there, and I do have a good sense of belonging because I am in constant touch with the people. They are not happy with whatever has happened, and whatever our government has promised, they have done nothing towards that 370. So whatever I have showed in the film, I have a strong belief that whatever they have done is wrong, and the people, they are not happy with uh, the way they have done in Kashmir. And you can't just do with the use of forces and everything, and completely you just cut the internet and calls everything, and then so these are some of the things. I think this is exploitation and violation of human rights. So yeah.
Okay, and when we are seeing the movie, no, there were some images or some representations that have been keep on coming on the movie. When we show the movie, I think the movie is in a slow pace, and also sounds are very less in the movie. The background score, especially, it comes in a light version in the movie. But when comes to the certain parts, that it gets louder. Like it was when more or non, it was on that when the blast happens. That sounds is like haunting the viewers also. Also, like the bomb blast, the gunshots and all.
Yeah.
Have you just
This is how and what I have observed while being there. You are in your normal life reading poems and eating and doing your work, and suddenly you hear a blast. So I wanted to bring in that, and the way you have seen, this is how I have observed in my life. So that's how it is there. Because there, when I say there is uncertainty, and when I say violence, so uncertain, there is no certainty in a sense that you are eating, you are doing your or going to market, and suddenly you hear a sound, and then everything gets shattered, closed. So that's how we thought we'll create that space in film, where that perpetual uncertainty will create with these kind of sounds and silences. Yeah.
okay? And when coming to the people's life there, I think you have been there for the shooting. Like it was in full of the surveillance of the state has
Yeah,
been,
yeah.
and one of them, and like the state doesn't wish to get the things out. Like
Yeah.
they have cut the internet, they
Yes,
cut the
yeah.
medias, the journalists were being arrested.
Yeah.
So making a film on that and on there, how difficult was that?
It is very difficult, I can say. It's very difficult to shoot because, if they see that someone, especially from Delhi, coming down to Kashmir and shooting a film, it's not easy to do. But, what I do most of the time, I do is guerrilla shoot, and uh, I calculate the risk involved in shooting at any certain, like any place. So I have a good friend there, and the friend is that close that he helps me a lot in understanding the dynamics and function of a place, and calculating the risk in shooting at any place. So that how I have calculated the risk. Let's say I'm shooting at Lal Chowk or going down to Shopian. So I'm very much aware of what all can happen to me and what all can happen to the crew member. So at certain places where I thought there is a like more risk, I thought I will shoot. So like some parts I have shot the film. Yeah.
So for making the film happen, so you took the risk that the other crew members been moved out and you took
Yeah,
and when the show.
I tried to do that, and where you see that when
Yeah.
the outer space where I cannot talk more about those shots,
Yeah.
but when we were doing that, we did it with small cameras, and that way we shot.
And when coming down to like the like making a political movie that offends the government and the state, so how you feel the future of this type of movies?
I haven't made this film to offend anyone, not even state. Why I made this, because this is what I felt during these years, and I wanted to bring out my expression, what I feel, And this is what I have nothing to do with what the state, because I don't want to offend them. I'm part of this country, so but again, I feel that way, that certain thing is not happening right way. I'm very much uncomfortable, so I will make a film that I believe in, and I'm not going to be censored by someone who believes in a certain kind of film and certain kind of propaganda. So I feel that I am not going to be part of that. I will make a film that I want to make. Yeah.
Yeah, when I was watching the movie, the one scene that strike in Delhi, that protest was that there was a jeep that belongs to police, okay, and that have that Hanuman and the Jai Sri Ram.
And, this narrative, again, Delhi police, they do have a image of Hanuman. And when we say we are a secular country, what kind of image that you are trying to portray? And you have written Jai Sri Ram on that. So I have a strong objection to that. That's why I have kept that shot in the film. That is my protest. I'm not going to fight with them, but this is how I'm going to protest, because these images, these symbolic representation, when it is a part of popular culture, I'm not going to accept that, because this is how you are in a way start discriminating and creating a space where the minority will feel that they are not part of this country.
Yes,
So yeah.
yeah. So what you are telling is like through your film, you are showing your protest.
Protest, in a way, the protest is when you are acting or reacting for someone, then it is protest. I would rather not use that word protest. I will use a better word, let's say expression, because when you want to express something, so this is my expression, and I want to express using this medium, cinema. So yeah, this is my expression. I would rather not say react or act or these things. Yeah.
And when we are telling like you're telling like we are making this film and you will not allow other people to censor on this, okay, but when we come to the films like this, you have been got a less options to show, like one of the major chunks of the option is like the film festivals. When we come to the present scenario, the film festivals has been also censored.
Yeah.
Like the films that they don't wish, or they feel like that was against them. Like when we come, I think you have heard the news on Pedro.
Yeah.
Yeah, when that it was a film that has been internationally acclaimed, but then comes to his hometown in Bangalore, it was not screened.
Yeah.
And that was an example, but it will come down to all parts also.
Yeah.
So
What I feel, first we will have to understand who are the people who are like doing this censoring thing, because my understanding of this country, I strongly feel that when you are censoring something, let's talk about that film only, Pedro. I have seen the film. There's nothing in that film where you will feel that you will censor something. But their idea is, okay, they heard that there is a story or something around cow, so they got they started showing, oh no, we will not show that film. So I believe that first we will have to understand who are the people who are censoring and what for, because their agenda is very clear. They want to suppress these voices, those who will raise question on them, and I firmly believe that our aim or our motive, our objective should be around raising questions. We cannot be like they are not going to decide our narrative. We'll decide our narrative, and if we feel like making something, we'll do that. And there is nothing in it that goes in a way that you can say this is against constitution. It is very much part of what happens in the society, and we are representing that only. We're not doing anything that is beyond certain things. So first we will have to understand who are the people, and what's their idea of understanding idea of India. So then only we'll be able to understand this censoring thing. Yeah.
but when we tell like we will make the films and we'll do our expressions, but the recent happenings, like when we put in example, like when you come to Andra Kashyap, he was one of the most acclaimed filmmakers in India and abroad also. But when come to him, it has been 6 years he has been gone to Uttar Pradesh. He cannot go to Uttar Pradesh. That was the situation has been now came on. Like a situation has been happening. So how will you or the filmmakers express like the film festivals has been moving out like the films like this when it comes to theaters. I like we cannot think of it like the like a film is going to theater because when you get to censor what we can think how they will react on
You
this.
know, I want to share two lines by a poet, and I will share in Hindi. So I read it long time back. So what he says is his Brecht. So he has written, क्या जुल्मतों के दौर में भी गीत गाए जाएंगे, हाँ जुल्मतों के दौर के ही गीत गाए जाएंगे. So I strongly believe that, you know, when these people will, you know, when they will try to suppress us, we will rise and we'll make more movies and we'll make the way we want to make. I know they are hampering our space, but again, we will try to create a space where we can show our films. Yeah.
Okay, when we're adding to that, like when we now we have been talking on a time like the film like Kashmir Files has been given a huge support from the governments, like when the BJP and
Yeah.
their co-companies have been supporting that, like the governments, state governments belong to them are giving subsidy to the films, and it is a same time where the NFDC and all has been funds has been
Yeah,
cut down, and like the parallel films or the films has been the makers cannot make that films because they have been not given in support. So what do you feel on that?
I feel very bad about the situation of like whatever the government is trying to create through NFDC and no whatever they are doing to all the organization. And even I feel bad because for me it was very difficult to make my film also. I had to produce my film. I had to take a loan from a few friends and borrow something like from other friends. So there are a lot of challenges in that way. But we can't be just thinking about these are the challenges and because I'm I can understand what you are trying to say. There has to be support from government side because when the government can support films like what you have mentioned, I don't want to name that film, but what I believe about that film is when I was making this film on Kashmir, I read in a book again like 3-4 years back. The first thing that was written in the book was only graveyard breezes blow in the valley of Kashmir. It haunts you. And these people, they are trying to bring in a narrative that is totally false. There is no history to it. And the government is supporting that. So what you can do, so my fight is not with that. My fight is I will make a kind of film that I want to make, and I'll keep on doing it irrespective of whatever they do. I don't care. And because I made this film with all the support from my friends, my closed ones, and I'll keep on doing for the next film also. So yeah.
Yeah, but when we are talking about that other than history, okay, you read the books and makes on that. But what like these films that you told like, and I also believe that we should not name because we should not give a negative also promotion on that
Yeah.
films like that.
Because that way also we are contributing to them only. They want us to comment on that so that we keep on engaging with their content. So I don't want to engage with that. I don't want to talk about those films.
But the one of the I one things I feel is that like they have been trying because we had a rich history and we have the history how that when it tells to Kashmir, when Kashmir was rich in literature and all.
Yeah.
But when we comes now as you are told Kashmir it's all about the graveyards. The
Yeah.
film is starting with that
Yeah.
point also.
Yeah.
But I think when we feel like only thing people that doesn't have any problem is the people in graveyard. Such a situation has been
It's
made.
very complex. It's very complex.
Complex
That's how
Kashmir.
when you will see my film, it has been like when people ask me what are some of your challenges. So I mentioned that the financial part is always there. The other challenge for me is to comprehend the complexity of Kashmir in my film. Is big challenge for me. So I decided to go with some poetic elements in the film, so that that poetic image gives me that liberty. As a director, I can take that liberty and bring in those elements that I cannot do it in a very narrative kind of a structure. So those poetic elements, that's how it comes in films. Yeah.
So it was very happy to see the films made on Kashmir on the present scenario, like the films which has been like bringing out the truth on the Kashmir issues. So it was very happy to see like the films, and all the best for your future endeavors.
And thank you so much for giving me space to speak on your channel, because in this media also, this journalism and all, everything is being controlled. So creating a space for us, I'm very grateful to you and very grateful to the people who are behind the camera and the other person. So thank you so much for giving me that space. Yes.